Hey guys, this is Sergeant Phoenix back in the action, and today we are on a Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile. I finally managed to finish a rough orientation of my own Knights of Hanoi deck. And Knights of Hanoi, they're not a really good deck, but I do find them alright for like a practice or, you know, like a start. I'd see them more as a starter deck if they ever have a structure deck built for them. But since most of the cards that they have in the deck are useless, like the Steel Swarms, Hercules, you know, you could say something there about, but, you know, Steel Swarms don't really suit this deck, so I added in other cards what would traditionally work. So this is only like a rough design one, but, you know, it's still effective. So first we have two Cracking Dragons. And Cracking Dragons are pretty much the signature of the Knights of Hanoi deck. The reason being, having 3000 attack, but 0 defense, it cannot be destroyed by a battle with a monster with equal or less or lower level. So technically under 8, so anything under 8 and under 8 or 8 will not destroy it whatsoever. So when your opponent normal or special summons a monster, exactly one monster, and you and no other monsters are summoned while this monster is on the field, you can make that monster lose attack equal to its level times 200. So let's say my opponent summons a Blue Eyes White Dragon, their monster is pretty much going to lose, let's see, 5, so that would be 1000 plus 16, so 1600, so that monster would only have 1400. And that's until the end of this turn. And if you do inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack lost by this effect, your opponent would take 1600 points of damage if Blue Eyes was summoned this way. You could have 3 of them, but I only managed to get 2. Next we have 2 Jack Wyverns. Again, no defense. This deck's not, the deck was never really designed for a defense. It was more designed for a damaging and offense strategy. You can banish this card and one face-up machine monster you control, then target one dark monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use the effect of Jack Wyvern once per turn. And this is a good one. This is a good card to use. So if this is in the graveyard and I have, let's say, the next one I'm going to show, you can get. I pretty much have got what I need to wipe out. I can summon back the Cracking Dragon. Next we have 3 Hackworms. And it's not really a good effect, but if your opponent controls no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. So if you starting first and you had 2 of these, you could special summon them, and if you have Crackling Dragon, sacrifice to summon it. Next we have the Mystery Shell Dragon, which was used, and all these cards, and the first cards I have, they're from the series. So if you see any ones that I recognise, well, they're from the anime series, but some of them are not because I've added them in. So Mystery Shell Dragon's a normal one, as seen no defense, but 2000 attack. So, like I said, this deck was never designed for a defensive strategy. But I added these 2 in. You can add more of these in, but, this is like a rough design of what the Knights of Hanoi deck would be, if I reconstructed it. Gold, Silver, and Gold Gadgets. They pretty much have the same effect. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon one level 4 or level 4 machine type monster from your hand. If this card is destroyed by battle, you can... or card effect, you can special summon one level 4 gadget monster from your deck, except Silver Gadget. You can only use the effect of this once per turn. So if I have both these in my hand, I do that. If I can see what I can do with them. Next I added in Mystic Tomato. Since the deck's pretty much dark attribute based, I added in this card because if it's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a dark monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck in face-up attack position. Next, I added in Stygian Security. Only reason I added in, just in case I need it, in case I have to get rid of this, but my opponent destroys this, I can summon another Hackworm because of its effect. If this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, special summon one level 1 Fiend type monster from your deck. And only problem if I was to use an Hackworms are machines, so that's why I put this one in. Relink Karibo, just in case my opponent, I'll show what it does in a minute. So it wouldn't work on that, but but I need to fill the cards in. Next, they have double costing, and if this card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute of a dark monster, so it would work for Crackling Dragon. I added this card in for a little defense. And its effect though, when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can special summon one normal monster from your hand or graveyard. So I could summon the Mystery Shell Dragon. And the last monster I have is Relink Karibo. And if this card is tributed, draw 1 card, and if your monster would be destroyed by battle, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So that's all the monster categories. And the main problem with the Knights of Hanoi deck, it's not really that good of a deck, because I've never actually seen the deck win a single duel so far. So now we're on our spell categories. 3 Cracking Storms, which would work well for Cracking Dragon. Reason being, equip only to a machine monster when that attack. Sorry, dry throat. When that attacking monster destroys your opponent's monster in battle, you can activate this effect. It can make a second attack during this battle phase. Your other monsters cannot attack the turn you activate this effect. You have to just make sure. Next, I added in 2 free-hand destructions. So both players discard 2 cards and then draw 2 cards. That's in case you need to draw out more cards, but you need them. Next, I added a feather off a phoenix. And this card's effect, discard 1 card, then target a card in your graveyard, return that target to the top of your deck. And the Knights of Hanoi used that when he used Steel Swarm cards in his deck. Next, 1 for 1. It sends 1 monster from your hand to the graveyard, then special summon a level 1 monster from your hand or deck. The reason I've added this in, because I have Monster Reborn, so I could bring. And this card does work on the Cracking Dragon, so I would be able to use it. Because this targets a monster in either player's graveyard and special summons it. Next, I added Burn of the Mighty. Since the deck is mostly built on level damaging, I decided to add this one in so monsters lose attack points equal to their levels. But the main problem is this is built on all monsters, while most of the opponents go up against. While most of the duels they go up against go using links. But I added Black Pendant as well. There are equip cards to it as well. And the equip monster gains 500 attack when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent. You can add more of them in if you wanted, but that's what I added in. Next, I added Maud Scalage. I can't say it properly. Maud Scalage. And equip only to a normal summon or set monster you control. It is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects or special summoned monsters. During damage calculation, if the equipped monster battles an opponent's special summoned monster, that opponent's monster loses attack and defense equal to the equipped monster's original attack during the damage calculation only. So my opponent's using links, and I have a Cracking Dragon, and the Cracking card. Which one is it? Cracking Storm. I equipped that. I pretty much equipped these 3 onto it. I can make my opponents lose more damage. That'll make it have 500 attack. That can make them declare 2 attacks. So it's a decent strategy for a card. So it's a good to me it's a good a good combination for cards. Not only allowing you to attack all your monsters, but also allows you to it also allows you to weaken your opponent's monsters that are in attack, like the links, and damage them. Next, we have Swords Revealing Light. So, flip off monsters your opponent controls face up. If this card remains on the field for 3 of your opponent's turns, while this card is face up on the field, monsters your opponent control cannot attack. But then I added limiter removal, which is, thank God they used. So with it, the attack points of all the machines on your field are double, but during the end turn, they have to be destroyed. I mostly use it on my ancient gears. Combining limiter removal with power bond and ultimate ancient gear golem, which I actually did yesterday in a duel. My monsters record, because I had 2 ancient gear castles as well. With the power bond, its attack points went to 9,600. Am I right? 9,000. Hold on. 9,400. Then I played limiter removal since my monster attack point monster had a monster with 5,000 points. Then, and when I played limiter removal, my new record got broken to how many attack points I can get a monster up to. The record is now 18,800 attack points. Which is actually quite good. So now we're on traps. Pulse Mine. They don't really use traps. It's mostly the monsters and spells they use. So this one, if you control a machine monster, change your opponent's attack position monsters, if any, to defense position. Also until the end of this turn, if a monster is normal or special summoned to your opponent's field, change them to defense position. Just in case they have too many attacks, but the problem is you can't really use it on links because, links don't have any defense. I added then 3 Strike Barrier. If your opponent controls exactly 3 cards, activate one of these effects. This turn, your monster cannot be destroyed by battle. This turn, you take no battle damage. This turn, each time your opponent monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you gain the same amount of life points. It's an alright card. Next, I had Negate Attack, just in case I need to protect my monsters in case I can't summon Kraken Dragon yet. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, target the attacking monster, negate the attack, and end the battle phase. Next, I added in Dark Bribe in case my opponent tries to destroy everything on the field like with Dark Hole. And so this card, when your opponent's spell or trap card is activated, your opponent draws 1 card. Also negate the spell or trap activation, and if you do, destroy it. So, as you see, the Cracking Dragon deck, aka Knights of Hanoi, their deck's mostly built on level damaging. So this card is the key. As I showed before with the combination, would make a really powerful combination, in my opinion. If you combine that with, let's say there are cards like the equipped one that can provide that can let them inflict piercing battle damage. So that would work as well. If you added that card in with it, you could damage your opponent quite a lot. But that's still a gamble. So I think the 3 spell combination with this would make a really decent strategy. Not only damaging your opponents and weakening the links if they use them, but also letting you attack more than once, which is a provided strategy. But, obviously there is a way to escape it. If they manage to destroy your Cracking Dragon, then the combination gets ruined. But then again, a Black Pandem would damage them for 500, so at least there's one slight upside to it. 500 is not a lot of damage, but it's still something. But that's pretty much a Knight of Hanoi deck. They do have Steel Swarms. The only Steel Swarms I've seen is Hercules and the Mantis ones. Because on the start, he has 3 Mantises, Hand Destruction, and what else? I think it's Soul Charge. So he uses Hand Destruction, get rid of 2 of them, draw 2 cards. which is the feather of a phoenix, and what other one was it? But I think it was. I know it wasn't Hercules, but I can't remember what the second one was. But then he played the feather one, so he got hand destruction back to his. So he used that feather phoenix card, discarded his third mantis, and then placed hand destruction at the top of his deck. Then sacrificed all three when he was able to, because he used soul charge to summon all three of them, but it cost him 3,000 life points. And with that card, you can't attack on the turn you've activated it. Sacrifices all three to summon Hercules. Hercules is an alright card, but like the Kraken Dragon, it has got a powerful attack strength, but there's no defense. Because that's what this deck's not designed for. It's not designed for a defense. Like because the deck's mostly built for damaging off a pure offense attack, which is alright, but in my opinion, if you don't have a defense system like with this deck, there's not really much you can do. But comment down below what you think and see if there's any other deck suggestions. Right now I'm just working on a new project for Comic-Con, where I'm going. I'm working on a shield for my character for my book. And and a short while after uploading this video, I'm going to do a episode review on episode 105 of Vrains, just to tell you what I think of it and what I'm going to expect on numbers on the next episode, knowing by the previews what will most likely happen. So until then, comment down below other decks, what you suggest and what you thought of this one. And until then, this is Sergeant Phoenix, over and out.